In this episode, we start in Tallinn, Estonia. We ride through a forest, walk on beautiful cobblestone streets, visit some surprising beaches, get a great deal on a hotel, see some beautiful restaurants, and even try a few.
It looks really good.
My name is Ray. I work in the movie business since about 30 years. I worked on some of the biggest movies and on the biggest music videos, and we were shooting all over the globe. I fell in love with this traveling and became a travel junkie. So now I'm gonna take you with me and we'll enjoy together the most beautiful places in this world. We crossed the Baltic Sea and arrived in Estonia. I got off the boat not like many other people who stayed on it and went back to Helsinki to drink as much as they can on their way back. But Tallinn, one of the most medieval city. You think you're 500 years back when you walk through the city. My first impression from Tallinn was it might not be the happiest city in the world, but it's definitely one of the most picturesque and well-preserved cities in the world. I would love to do a movie here. Estonia, compared to Finland, is probably 1/3 of the expense. It's so much cheaper there. You go to a restaurant, you eat 3 courses with drinks and everything, you stay under 15 euros or dollars. And it's walkable, you can walk everywhere. It's cobblestone city because it's so old. It's been around for that long.
I found a great deal at a place to stay, the St. Olav Hotel.
That old hotel included breakfast, which was incredible. Just to be in the breakfast room was a treat because it was 200, 300, 400 years old. The floors, the paintings, the settings, it was like in the museum. And the breakfast was fantastic, the choices, everything you wanted to have of breakfast you had. And thanks God they kept breakfast going till like 11 o'clock. Because, being up all night, you're not gonna get up at 7. Like usually for breakfast, you have your breakfast at 9, 10. The hotel was 300 years old, including breakfast, $45. So on my walk through the hotel to my room, you see that this hotel is really old. It's still built all by old rocks, and all the woodwork is from hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So I walked through like a medieval castle just to get to my room, which again also was like I'm living in that old castle there. With the breakfast included, $45. Huge bargain. It was beautiful.
This is the room. Good enough. Got a big screen TV, which I never turn on. It's got a great shower. The hot water is coming out immediately. Like not in necessarily expensive hotels all the time. And it's super quiet.
Old Town is walkable and actually not recommended for bicycles, but I did it anyway, as you can see a little bit later. So I walked to the flower market and I probably stood there for 20 minutes just breathing deep because it smelled so good from all these flowers. I would highly recommend to go to the flower market, sit down or stand there or walk slowly through it and breathe deep. You can take horse carriages around the town, which is probably a nice thing to do, probably not even expensive because nothing is expensive there. Most of the city is built with rocks and stone hundreds and hundreds of years ago, but in between you can find some houses built out of wood. And that wood constructions, which we will see later on when we get to Parnu on the beach, on the coast of Estonia, the construction of this wood There was a special way when they built it about 150 years ago that the wooden building can survive harsh winters and summers and lots of rain and snow without having to be renovated. Once you walk around the city, you realize the whole city is pretty much enclosed with huge stone walls to keep the enemies out of it, like almost going back 1,000 years. And it's pretty well preserved considering how old these walls and these towers and these castles are. Yeah, you walk through these cities, cobblestones, through these walls and arches, you really feel like you're in a sword and sorcerer movie. And I'd love to do one here, and I would shoot it in black and white just to give you that feel of sun and shadow hitting these cities. By the way, Tallinn has one of the best Wi-Fi internets in the world. They call it 5.5G. It's that good. Everybody speaks English, very well educated. I think more and more people gonna discover that part of the world in summer, and we're gonna think about, do I go to Italy, go to Spain, Greece? No. Let's go to Estonia. So many restaurants to choose from. This one I choose, I guess maybe because the waitress was really pretty and the menu was fantastic. We're gonna have some really good food here in Tallinn. So I went for the fish soup. I think that was like $5-6. That's some of the best fish there is. That's actually fish from a fresh lake, right here at the Baltic Sea. That was a good fish soup. And now we go duck style. And then the duck to dream. It was so good. They had a beer called the Blonde Monk. I guess monks back then up here in Estonia were even blonder than blonde. And it was delicious. It could easily keep up with the good wheat beers back in Bavaria. The meal was delicious. Duck, fish soup, beer, nice setting. It was already 10 o'clock at night. I guess they're serving food till midnight because it's still like daytime. It was a great place. I can highly recommend it. Very relaxed. It's perfectly cooked duck. It's $14. The fish soup was $6. A great beer? Here. Thank you. It's $3. It's luxury on a budget. In beautiful old town, Tallinn. I had to walk so much, walked off the food, made more room for more food, walked it off. Till 2 in the morning, it never really got dark. So walking it all off. Walking around the city at midnight feels like midday. And it never really got dark, to be honest with you. Maybe the sun went down for a couple hours, but it never really got dark. So to get the good shots in the morning, I could really sleep until like 9-10 and still nobody in the streets because everybody was out and about the whole night. It was the 21st of June when I was there, which is Midsummer night, the longest day of the year. It's still morning, but the sun is right overhead, as if it be noon. I'm ready for a little walk. Of course, like always, I'm gonna get a bicycle to get around, see more. It was funny, the guy warned me about driving on the cobblestone, which was a new experience. It was a little shaky, but thought take the bicycle to the Baltic Sea. And to my biggest surprise, there was a beach. People laying on the beach like I'm in Italy or in Greece or in Spain. So I drove along the beach to find the perfect beach. Who would have thought there's a beach in Estonia? I found it. So I keep going with the bicycle along the Baltic Sea, looking at marinas, rocky beach, grass beach, but then there it was, the perfect beach. It was a forest growing right up to the sand with beautiful walkways and bicycle ways. Finally choose a place to rest, going almost an hour on my bicycle from my hotel, and I think I found the perfect beach. I parked my bicycle there, everybody relaxed, hanging out in the warm sun, going into the water, and the fine sand stretched all the way to the city on the one side and all the way out of the city on the other side, and enjoy 80-degree water. It was just a dream. Of course, had to go in the water, cool down. I expected the water to be cold. It's called the Baltic Sea and not the Mediterranean. But surprisingly, the water was warm, about 80 degrees, and it was crystal clear. It was clean, and the beaches were clean. One of the biggest surprises on my Baltic trip were the beaches along the Baltic Sea. Who would have thought that Tallinn up in Northern Europe, Estonia, would have some of the nicest beaches in Europe? Who would have thought? So I ventured out with the bicycle quite a ways, gotten hungry, stopped at the dumpling shop. Dumplings, ooh. Handmade. Those dumplings were handmade and super delicious. Of course, the dumplings didn't do the job yet, and I had to venture into another restaurant which had a black pudding. I was wondering what could that be, let's get it. And it was blood sausage with sauerkraut, and I loved it, and it was delicious with some pommes frites and salad. Delicious. I know not many of you gonna be in that kind of food, but be courageous, try it. It's delicious. So one walk I went a little bit up the hill, seeing the city walls, and I turned around the corner and there was that old Russian cathedral. That old Russian cathedral is actually also a landmark of Tallinn and a must-see with some monasteries around it. Walking further around up on that hill, there's a couple more churches, cobblestones. Very interesting part of the city. You actually can overlook the city a little bit from up there. But you walk around, not many people around. Once you get out of the old city walls, you get into the new modern part of Tallinn. Not only eating and hanging around, but there's also a lot of cultural events and a lot of art, a lot of exhibition, lots of galleries. And here is one. And I have to say, trendy restaurants again, bars, shops. Very impressive, the new part of Tallinn. In Tallinn there is something for everybody, and here is more like the Nouvelle restaurant row. Of course, it's all about sightseeing, seeing all the beautiful places, and eating. What do you get? Sea bass for $12. Smells good. And of course, being on the Baltic Sea, it's a lot of fish. That one fish here, baked in parchment paper, dropped some truffle oil on the plate, various vegetables, and it was just extremely delicious. I can't really describe it. Delicious. After my meal, I called it a day and went back to my room to get some sleep. The next morning, I woke up to another beautiful day. Nobody here. It seems like noon. It's 8 o'clock, nobody here. I like these early walks when nobody's around, 2 people in the street. And the cleaning ladies getting the places ready for the day, since it's a most beautiful day with no clouds. This is where the bus station is. When taking buses, they're comfortable. Get around, meet people. And this is also the place where the theater is. Estonians are very much into theater. They had film projections in the early 20th century, like around 1910, 1915 already. And they built opera houses and theaters all over the place. It's one of their trademarks to have plays and theaters and music. So you always pass theaters, galleries, music venues, movie theaters along the way. It's part of their culture. Tallinn, I love you, but I had to keep going, and I went south to the most southern beaches of Estonia, and there was this seaside resort called Parnu. Parnu is popular with Estonians. Yeah, here we're on the beach again, Estonia. Who would have thought? Beautiful beaches, and to my surprise, the water is actually warm. It's not cold like you expect about the sea up here in the north. It's cold, no, it's warm. And tomorrow, it's a big holiday today, and it's already 7 o'clock. It looks like noon with the sun up so high, but it's already 7 o'clock at night. Tomorrow I'm gonna go swimming in the Baltic Sea. Very few tourists ever get there, and it's a pity, because the beaches are most beautiful, great restaurants, and the locals are super nice. And one interesting thing about Parnu was most of the city is built with just wooden constructed houses. I got lucky again with Airbnb in Parnu. The Airbnb apartment, which was great. Everything is new. Everything worked fine. It was perfect for the stay. I could do my work and had everything I needed. The owner was fantastic, Timothy. Told me some really great stories about this place. The gentleman told me the whole story of Parnu. He actually traveled there, found this beautiful Estonian woman, never left the place, bought a couple homes, rent them out, entertains his host, as a host entertains his guests. He's having a great time. I ask him, how about winter? And he says, you should see winter here. It's magical with the snow. I believe him. Beautiful seaside resort of Parnu. By exploring Parnu, the seaside resort, I walked along the beach, saw stadiums for volleyball, apparently very popular sport. These are the typical houses here with wooden houses, pretty close to the beach. In this villa restaurant is where the high society of Estonia hangs out, drinks and eats, and having a good time. So some of the older mansions along the beach transformed into coffee houses and restaurants, some beautiful, great places to hang out in the afternoon, have a sip of coffee or beer or one of the incredible dishes. I think a lot of richer people from Estonia have their places there, and that's where they enjoy their days. This seems to be the center of the city, the hangout for kids, wine lovers, and foodies. There's a sightseeing boat and the bridge over the big river that actually brings a lot of fresh water into the ocean. So the beaches, the water on the beaches is not very salty. That was it for Estonia. A big surprise. I never thought it'll be that beautiful, with old cities, most friendly people, and most beautiful beaches. But you should join me. I'm getting on the bus here, going down to Latvia, my next stop in the Baltics. Come with me, Latvia, here we go.